The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Once upon a time, a young shepherd boy lived in a quiet village. Many of the villagers owned sheep, and it was the boy's job to take care of them. The sheep were very important. They provided meat and wool for their owners. The villagers trusted the boy to take good care of the flock. Every day was the same. The boy ate his breakfast, kissed his mother and father goodbye, and walked the sheep to a pasture full of green grass. He made sure that the sheep got plenty of exercise and fresh food, and kept them safe. In the pasture, the sheep grazed while the boy watched them. He also kept a lookout for wolves, because they loved to eat sheep. If he did see a wolf, the boy was supposed to yell to the villagers, who would come chase it away, but the boy never saw a single one. Day after day, the boy watched the sheep, but they were very boring. All they did was eat, nap, and eat some more. The boy had some fun swinging from tree branches, clambering over rocks, and chasing lambs. But soon these games grew old. Nothing kept him amused for very long. One day, the shepherd boy had an idea to make things more exciting. He would play a trick on the villagers. What if he pretended that a wolf had come to the pasture? That was sure to be much more exciting than just watching the sheep all day. He climbed the tree and yelled, "Wolf, wolf! Everyone, come quick!" In the village, everyone heard the boy's cries. The farmers dropped their tools, the baker dropped her bread, the grocer dropped his groceries, and they all ran to the meadow as fast as they could. They had to chase away the wolf before he snatched any sheep. When they arrived, there was no wolf to be seen, and the sheep were calmly munching grass. The villagers were very confused. What was going on? They all turned to the shepherd boy, who was laughing under the tree. "You looked so funny running up here," the boy said. "What a great joke!" None of the villagers laughed. They didn't think that it was so funny to drop what they were doing and run all the way to the pasture for nothing. "We have to go back to work now," said the baker with a sigh. "We don't have time for pranks." That night, the boy's parents explained that the villagers couldn't just stop what they were doing because of some trick. The farmers' fields had been trampled and had to be replowed. The baker's cakes had burned and had to be remade, and the grocer's vegetables were ruined when he dropped them on the floor. The villagers spent a few days grumbling about what the boy did, but before long, everything was back to normal. The villagers worked, the sheep were safe in the pasture, and the boy didn't play any more tricks. Before long, the boy grew bored again and decided to play the same prank. That morning, he ate his breakfast, kissed his parents goodbye, and walked the sheep to the pasture. Once they were all settled in, the boy cupped his hands around his mouth and yelled, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf is stealing our sheep!" Once again, the villagers dropped what they were doing and raced to the pasture. But when they arrived, there was no wolf to be seen. The villagers counted the sheep and saw that they were all there. But where was the shepherd boy? Had the wolf snatched him? Suddenly, the villagers heard something from behind a big rock. It was the boy. He was laughing so hard, tears were running down his face. "I tricked you again," he said. The villagers sighed and went back to the village. That night, the boy's parents gave him another stern talk and sent him to bed without any dinner. The boy felt very sorry for what he had done and vowed not to play any more tricks. He would just do his job without making anyone else mad at him. From then on, the boy worked hard every day. He walked the sheep to the pasture, watched them graze, and kept an eye out for wolves. He did all of this without getting sidetracked. One day, the boy noticed that the sheep were acting strangely. The rams walked nervously around the pasture and bleated loudly while the ewes and lambs huddled together. Just then, the shepherd boy saw something out of the corner of his eye. He turned quickly, but only saw a dark blur dash behind a rock. What was that? The shepherd boy wondered. It looked awfully large. Just then, the creature darted out from behind the rock. It was a wolf, and he was running straight at the sheep. Before the boy could even blink, the wolf snatched a lamb and gobbled it up. Then he quickly ran back into the flock and grabbed another one. The boy was horrified. "Wolf!" yelled the boy. "Wolf! Everybody, come quick! There's a wolf! Help!" In the village, the boy's cries echoed through the streets. "What's going on?" someone asked. "It's just the shepherd boy playing another trick," said the baker. "Just ignore him. He'll stop yelling soon enough." Nobody believed that there was really a wolf this time, so nobody heeded the boy's cries. The farmers continued working in the field, the baker kept mixing her dough, and the grocer stayed in his store. Meanwhile, the wolf had snatched every single sheep from the pasture. The boy had yelled and waved his arms, trying to scare away the wolf, but the creature took no notice of him. Finally, the wolf walked off, his belly swollen and full of all the sheep he'd eaten. The shepherd boy stared in shock at the empty field. He couldn't believe how quickly the wolf had gobbled up the flock. If only the villagers had come to chase away the wolf. Finally, the boy walked sadly back to town. He felt terrible that the sheep were gone, and even more so because it was all his fault. He never should have tricked the villagers. And so the shepherd boy learned his lesson. No one believes a liar, even if he is telling the truth.